Assalamu alaikum. Hey guys, I'm back and welcome all of you to my new video tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can quickly perform raster calculation functionality in ArcGIS Pro using Python scripting. So for the betterment and flexibility, I'm going to write first the code in Jupyter Notebook, and then I'll save this code as Python file, and then I'll load this Python file in ArcGIS Pro in the Python window, and then I'll perform that code to run the raster calculation. You might have the question why I'm writing the code in Jupyter Notebook instead of Python window. The answer is all of you know probably the Python window attached in ArcGIS Pro is not handy to write the code. So to better handle, I will first use Jupyter Notebook, and then I will switch to ArcGIS Pro while running the code. So without further delay, let's just jump into our tutorial. So first, I have added some comments so that you can better understand the codes, and inside the comments I will write the code. So first I need to import essential libraries. Let's import that. Import ArcPy from ArcPy, import environment env, and then from ArcPy.sa, that means from ArcPy.sa spatial analyst tool, import all spatial analyst tool that is performed by using an asterisk sign. So I'm done with importing the libraries which will be required to run raster calculations, and the second part of our code is check out the spatial analyst extension. So for that case, ArcPy dot check check out extension, and here we're gonna insert, let's use double inverted comma spatial. Okay, now we need to set the input environment. So for setting in input environment, use env dot workspace, probably I misspell workspace, and here I'm gonna use R. Okay, so inside the R I will insert the input directory where I have the raster dim data, and here I need to set the output path. So let's call upon another variable called output path is equal to the same. Let's copy and paste here. Why I'm using R, you probably have already known that in Python you have different sorts of convention to use the directory pathway. So if you use R placed at the very beginning of your pathway, just copy and paste, and R will perform the backslash and forward slash, something like that. It will reduce that effect. So when we will be in ArcGIS Pro, we'll just insert the input path and output path. Okay, now let's define a variable using a dictionary. So the variable name should be x values is equal to the dictionary value. So when you will create a dictionary, you will have two elements that should be enclosed within a curly braces. So the element of dictionary is the key and the value. So let's start the curly braces, and here we have the DEM and corresponding headwater value. So the DEM name with the index is gonna be the key of the dictionary, and the headwater that we want to subtract value from it is gonna be the value of the dictionary. So to save the time, let's copy and paste the dictionary that I have already produced. This is the dictionary. This is the first DEM and the associated headwater. So the formula that I'm gonna use in raster calculation is this headwater value minus each DEM divided by 0.46. So I'm done with this x, that should be underscore x values as a dictionary. Now I'm going ahead to use a for loop to loop through each raster in the workspace. So let's start for loop raster in ArcPy dot. We're gonna use a list function for specifically designed for raster is called list rasters, and here we're gonna insert the common characteristic that is found in the DEM nomenclature. So look at this DEM underscore FT underscore. This is the common trait that is found in the DEM nomenclature. So I'm gonna copy and paste this part, and here I'll insert with an asterisk because it will include all of the DEM by index value chronologically. So here I have just used 4 DEM to expedite the process. However, if you have more DEM, like even thousands of DEM to calculate from the corresponding headwater, that you can also use. However, that takes time. So to show you shortly, I have just used only 4 DEM out of multiple DEMs that I have stored in my geodatabase. So let's use colon as the convention for loop. Now I'm gonna convert this dictionary into a list so that I can get the corresponding x value, the headwater value. So for that case, let's start or declare a new variable called x, and that will contain the previous variable called x underscores values, and here I'm gonna use the less sign, third bracket, and insert raster, because for raster in ArcPy, this is the raster which will loop through each and every value of the DEM. So I'm done with corresponding x value creation. Now I'm gonna perform the calculation in Raster Calculation using the equation that I have defined, headwater minus dem divided by 0.46. So for that, let's create another variable that would be not output. First, let's create raster object, call another variable, and here we're gonna use raster function and insert this raster value. Okay, so we have created an object raster. Now we're gonna save the output raster, create the output raster using the equation that we define, x, that means headwater, minus raster objects. Let's copy and paste to avoid misspell, and divided by 0.46. Now it's turn to get the dem number from the raster name to index the output on output raster. Okay, so get the dem number from the raster. We need to define a new variable called dem number, which is this one, 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on, because in my saving part, this number is gonna be used as an index to create the new output raster that is created, that will be created by the equation I have put here. So dem number is equal to raster. I'm gonna use a split function here, and I will be splitting using underscore, and the index will be declining by 1. That's why I'm gonna use -1. Now it's turn to save the function. Okay, you should be aligned, the indentation should be the same as it is started from the column. So here let's add a manual save the output raster in the format. Okay, so here I'll be using this output raster variable. Where is the output raster? This is the output raster, and I'm gonna use save method, and then I'm gonna copy and paste this line, then I'm gonna explain it further. Okay, so here a couple of things I would like to draw your attention to it. First, I have used the save function to save the raster, and inside this, first I have used the f literal, which is responsible to concatenate multiple strings. So here, first it will connect the output path that will be generated here, and then the name. This is a customized name. It would be different for your case, and it will then connect or make a thread with this dem number. The dem number here we define raster.split that will be generated using all this index value. Okay, and I have used the format raster format diff, which is the most convenient raster format to use in ArcGIS or GIS format. It works better than any other existing file format like grid or any other things. So I'm almost done. Just add, let's add a print function here. Let's call it Raster Calculation is done. So I'm giving the command for to Python to write the raster calculation is done once the code is successfully run. So pretty much looks great. I'm done with this code. Everything looks fine. Okay, so now it's time to save this code as Python file, .py file. So to save this Python file in your convenient directory, first go to File and Download As, and just settle down with python.py. So save as in the download, keep. Okay, now I have to go back to ArcGIS Pro interface and look for Python window, as I have already saved this code into a convenient directory. So let's get back to Python window from ArcGIS Pro interface. So this is my ArcGIS interface. But before running the code, let me show you where I have deposited my code. This is the code I stored in desktop from Jupyter Notebook. And to use the Python window from ArcGIS Pro, you will first remember that you have to come down under View tab, and then you will search for Python window and click this one. Once you click this one, you can see a window popping up exactly like this one. So here you can manually write the code, either manually write the code, or also you can load the existing code from your directory. So I will follow the later on because I have already my code written. So right click and go to your directory by following load code, and here the code I have stored. My directory is desktop, and here okay, and you can find the code like this one. So couple of things you can just get rid of. Okay, so these are the default thing that when you load a code it will be attached with your code, but don't worry, it's not gonna harm anything with your code. But still, if you were suspicious, you can just delete this one. Okay, and here we need to insert the environment, input directory where I have the data stored in, and the output directory where I'm expecting or wanting the data to be stored from the output from this code. So I have already created the output directory, and I can show you where I have deposited my data. So the data for dem file that I stored, that should be under Python automation, and here test purpose, this is the 4 dim that should be subtracted from the corresponding head water, and the output file I have generated called output test, where I'm expecting this code to send the output to this output directory. So to save the time, I have already copied the directory from both this path, so let me just copy and paste. So first let me copy the input directory here, okay, and let me just give the output directory by pasting as well. Okay, so it's gonna be doubler, so I'm removing 1 and inverted 1, I removed 1. Okay, now it looks good, I would say, and if I don't make any mistakes, I am good to go to run the code. So to run the code in Python window, you should press the enter button in your keyboard twice. Okay, so let's run the code using the enter button, pressing it double in my keyboard, 1, 2. Look, the code is started running and it will await us for a couple of minutes because we have just 4 dim to be calculated. So I'll be right back when the code is run. Okay, now I'm back and I can see that the code has successfully been run and the output is added into the interface. So to see the output file raster data, we need to first refresh this one and look for output test. Here, look exactly, there are 4 raster file which has been stored as TIFF file, and initially it was geodatabase like grid file. So now after the code has run upon this data, we have got this TIFF file. So let's just look at this data, how it looks like in the actual ArcGIS Pro interface. So let's remove this one. Now let's drag all these 4 raster file newly created into ArcGIS Pro interface to visualize. Go with no. It will take a little bit time to be visualized in the map interface because it's a raster data. However, it shouldn't take much more time, I would say. So we can see that you can just zoom to layer. Look, this is 4 raster data have been added successfully. So this is the advantage that you can automate, you can perform multiple raster calculation simultaneously using the Python scripting, that means automation in Python window. So if you had to calculate this data using like raster calculation manually, it would have taken a lot of time, and especially it is more effective when you will deal with a lot of raster data that are needed to be calculated in raster calculation. So as long as you will use Python window effectively and you have some basic knowledge in Python, it's gonna save your time, it's gonna save your effort, and you will be dealing all the geospatial data processing smarter than ever. So with that being said, that's all for the time being. I hope you guys have liked this video. If you have, please do subscribe to my channel. I'll come up with another new video very soon. Till then, bye bye, Allah Hafiz.